we're talking about the quadratic formula. Now, we have to be really careful with the quadratic formula, okay? It's a tool. And we plug numbers into it, and we crank out other numbers. It's really all it does, is it just cranks out numbers. So we have to be really careful not to overuse it. We need to interpret the information that it presents to us. Okay, but there's this piece within the quadratic formula, and that's this piece here under the square root, okay, called the discriminant. Now remember that this part right here gives us the vertex. Okay, well, this part right here is the discriminant. Okay, now the discriminant is the b squared minus 4ac. It has some valuable information in it. Okay, if the discriminant is greater than a 0, in other words, we're talking about numbers that are bigger than 0, a half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. We're going to end up with, in the end result of applying this thing, with 2 answers. And why is that? Well, because we've got our quadratic here. Here's our y, here's our x. It means that we're crossing the x-axis twice. Okay? Because we're getting 2 answers. Okay? So it's saying, remember, this whole deal is that our y is essentially a 0, because we can only use this when 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c equals a 0. Okay, so we're saying y is a 0. So y is a 0. This gives us 2 possible answers for an x. Okay. Now if our discriminant is equal to a 0, well, what's the square root of 0? Square root of 0 is equal to a 0, right? So this plus or minus becomes irrelevant. Doesn't matter anymore. So we're talking about, on our little graph here, okay, there's only one solution. In other words, just the vertex is touching, right? Because this part goes away. What are we left with? We're left with the vertex formula, okay? So just the vertex is touching. So there's only one answer. Okay? Now there's another piece to this. What if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0? Aha! Well, if it's less than 0, we're going to end up with the square root of a negative. So you're going to have the square root of a negative, which is going to give us an imaginary solution. But you're still going to have a number in there, okay? And you can take the square root of a number. So we're going to have 2 imaginary solutions. So 2 imaginary solutions. So again, if our discriminant is greater than 0, 2 solutions. If our discriminant is equal to 0, 1 solution. If our discriminant is less than 0, we've got 2 imaginary solutions.